Hey guys, my name is David Green and welcome back to episode 13 of Supernatural Archives, a show where I tell you scary stories for fun. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take a break from doing creepypastas for a bit and instead bring to you an original story, The Asylum. So without further ado, sit back, relax, cut the lights, and lock the doors, because it's story time. In the stillness of the night, the dense forest loomed like a shroud, its ancient trees casting eerie shadows that danced in the pale moonlight. Mark had always been drawn to the unknown, to the mysteries that lurked in the darkness. So when he found himself wandering aimlessly through the woods on that fateful night, he felt a thrill of excitement coursing through his veins. Lost in the labyrinth of trees, Mark stumbled upon something that sent shivers down his spine. A decrepit building, hidden amongst the gnarled branches and tangled undergrowth. It stood like a forgotten sentinel, its windows shattered and its walls covered in ivy. Intrigued, Mark approached cautiously, the crunch of leaves beneath his feet echoing in the silence. As he pushed open the creaking door, a musty odor assaulted his senses, a mixture of decay and despair. Inside, the air was heavy with the weight of forgotten memories, and the darkness seemed to swallow him whole. Mark's footsteps echoed through the empty corridors, each step sending a ripple of fear down his spine. The asylum whispered its secrets to him, tales of suffering and madness that lingered in the shadows. The walls were adorned with faded murals, grotesque caricatures of the human psyche painted by tortured souls. Mark's heart raced as he ventured deeper into the bowels of the building. His flashlight casted long, twisted shadows that danced across the walls. It was then that he heard it, the faint sound of scratching like nails against stone. His blood ran cold as he followed the sound, his heart pounding in his chest. Finally, he came upon a door, its surface marred by claw marks, as if someone, or something, had desperately tried to escape. With trembling hands, Mark pushed open the door, and what he saw within would haunt him for the rest of his days. The room was bathed in darkness, illuminated only by the dim light of his flashlight, and there, huddled in the corner like animals, were the inmates of the asylum. Their faces were contorted with madness, their eyes vacant and hollow. Some rocked back and forth, lost in their own delusions, while others lay motionless on the floor, their bodies twisted and broken. Mark felt throw up rise in his throat as he took in the sight, the stench of decay overwhelming. But it was the sight of their mutilations that made his blood run cold. Limbs were twisted at unnatural angles, flesh torn and raw. Some had gouged out their own eyes, while others had carved grotesque patterns into their skin. It was a taboo of horror, a testament of the depths of human depravity. As Mark stood frozen in fear, one of the inmates turned towards him, its eyes blazing with madness that sent a chill down his spine. With a guttural growl, it lurched forward, its movements jerky and unnatural. Mark stumbled backwards, his heart hammering Mark stumbled backwards, I'm just gonna, right where Mark stumbled backwards, I'm just gonna redo that part. Mark stumbled backwards, his heart hammering in his chest as he realized the danger he was in. With a newfound sense of urgency, he turned and fled, the echoes of his footsteps reverberating through the empty halls. The asylum seemed to stretch on endlessly, his corridors twisting and turning like a labyrinth designed to ensnare him. But Mark refused to give in to despair, driven by the primal instinct to survive. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he burst through the doors and into the cool night air, gasping for breath. He collapsed onto the ground, his body trembling with exhaustion and fear. And as he lay there staring up at the stars above, he knew that he would never forget the horrors he had to witness within those walls. For in the darkness of the asylum, he had come face to face with the true nature of madness, and it was a sight that would haunt him for the rest of his days. And that's it for today. I've had this idea for a while and wanted to give it the shot. Let me know how I did. If you guys have a suggestion for our next video, please leave it down in the comments and we'll see what we can do. For now, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.